The 27th book, The 10 Concentrations, speaks of the enlightening being breaking through the barriers of the familiar relative world, barriers of space, time, multiplicity, solidity, by mental concentration. One aspect of this practice is the entry and exit of concentration in different domains. Entry is interpreted as concentration or absorption, and exit as insight or knowledge. Through concentration in one domain, insight into another is awakened. This is done through numerous different mediums of concentration and is connected with the development of the flower ornament vision of the interpretation of principles and phenomena and the interpenetration of phenomena. Other exercises are also presented, embedded within the imagery and descriptive nature of the book, structured to foster the fundamental perspectives of the teaching and to guide the mental focus of development of the general and specific aspects of comprehensive knowledge for which the enlightening being strives. One characteristic of such exercises is their telescopic quality, visualizing simultaneous extension and immanence. The flower ornament scripture is like a hologram, the whole concentrated in all the parts, this very structure reflecting a fundamental doctrine of the scripture, that this is what the cosmos itself is like, everything interreflecting, the one and the many interpenetrating. In the book on the 10 stages, this is illustrated with the gradual mode of teaching predominant. In the book on the 10 concentrations, this is shown with the sudden or all-at-once mode coming strongly to the fore, paralleling the step-by-step format. Were its method unlocked, ancient research into the mental cosmos, such as reflected in the flower ornament scripture, might have something to offer to modern investigations into the holographic nature of the brain and its linear and simultaneous modes. An essential theme of the 10 concentrations is the purpose of knowledge in the context of the life of enlightening beings. Specifically, understanding the processes of development of civilization and mentalities, and how the cycles of teaching operate in the context of these processes and their various elements. Book 27, The 10 Concentrations. At that time the world-honored one was at the site of enlightenment in a forest in the country of Magadha, having just attained perfect enlightenment. In the hall of universal light he entered the Buddha's concentration on the absolute instant, and by the inherent spiritual power of universal knowledge manifested the body of a realized Buddha, pure and untrammeled, not relying on anything, with no clinging to objects, abiding in the ultimate tranquility of cessation, endowed with great power, without any attachments, able to cause all beholders to gain awakening, appearing as appropriate, in accord with the time, always abiding in one form, which is no form. He was with as many great enlightening beings as atoms in 10 Buddha-lands, all of whom were of the rank of coronation, had fulfilled enlightening practices as measureless and boundless as the cosmos, and had attained the enlightening being's concentration state of universal vision. With great compassion, they brought peace and calm to all sentient beings. Their powers and mastery were the same as those of Buddhas. By their wisdom, they profoundly penetrated and expounded the truth and were endowed with universal knowledge. They had conquered all demons, and though they entered into the world, their minds were always calm. They dwelled in the non-dwelling liberation of enlightening beings. Their names were indestructible knowledge, peerless knowledge, knowledge of meanings and expressions, supreme knowledge, eternally equanimous knowledge, dragon knowledge, consummate knowledge, well-tuned knowledge, immensely powerful knowledge, inconceivable knowledge, unhindered knowledge, masterful knowledge, knowledge of universal service, rational knowledge, adaptable knowledge, knowledge mastering all teachings, knowledge of truth, dispassionate knowledge, space-like knowledge, knowledge of unity, good knowledge, knowledge of illusoriness, vast knowledge, forceful knowledge, worldly knowledge, knowledge of Buddhahood, true knowledge, holy knowledge, illuminate knowledge, boundless knowledge, adorned with mindfulness, arrived at the limit of space, natural adornments, most profound realm, comprehending what is so and what is not, great light, eternal light, understanding the seed of Buddhahood, mind king, one practice, always manifesting spiritual powers, sprouts of wisdom, abode of virtues, lamp of truth, illumining the world, sustaining the world, most serene, supreme, unexcelled, incomparable, peerless, unhindered action, flames of light, moonlight, one atom, steadfast practice, showering the rain of true teaching, supreme banner, universal adornment, eye of wisdom, objective eye, cloud of wisdom, spellbinding king, non-dwelling vows, mine of knowledge, mind king, inner awareness, abiding in enlightened knowledge, forceful power of spells, earth-sustaining power, beautiful moon, peak of the polar mountain, jewel summit, universal illumination, charismatic king, wheel of knowledge, great power, dragon-like, straightforward action, non-regressive, holding the banner of the teaching, unforgetting, caring for all beings, inconceivable certain knowledge, freely unbounded knowledge, inexhaustible treasury of wonderful teachings, sun of knowledge, sun of truth, treasury of knowledge, luster of knowledge, universal vision, true vision, diamond insight, diamond knowledge, diamond flame, diamond wisdom, universal eye, sun of Buddhahood, holding the indestructible secret meaning of the Buddha, adornments of knowledge of the sphere of the universal eye, and so on. There were as many such enlightening beings as atoms in 10 Buddha lands, who had all cultivated the same practices of roots of goodness of enlightening beings with Vairocana Buddha in the past. Then the great enlightening being Universal I, imbued with the spiritual power of the Buddha, rose from his seat, bared his right shoulder, knelt with his right knee on the ground, joined his palms in respect, and said to the Buddha, "World-honored one, I want to ask the completely enlightened one about something. Please permit me to do so." The Buddha said, "You may ask whatever you want. I will explain for you and gladden you." Universal I said, "How many concentrations and liberations have the enlightening being universally good and the enlightening beings who live by the vows and practices of universal good attained, that they may enter and exit and abide at rest in the great concentrations of enlightening beings, and by skillfully entering and emerging from the inconceivable vast state of concentration of enlightening beings, are able to command all concentrations with ceaseless mystical powers?" The Buddha said, "Very good, Universal I. You are asking this for the benefit of the enlightening beings of past, future, and present. The enlightening being universally good is now here, already capable of freely accomplishing inconceivable spiritual effects, beyond those of all enlightening beings, rarely encountered, born of immeasurable enlightening practices. He has purified the great vows of enlightening beings and is unregressing in all the practices he carries out. He has already attained innumerable aspects of transcendence, unhindered access to memory, and inexhaustible powers of elucidation, thoroughly pure and uninhibited. He compassionately aids all beings through the power of his fundamental vows, forever unwearying. You should ask him. He will explain to you those concentrations, powers, and liberations. Then the enlightening beings in the assembly, hearing the name of universally good, immediately attained inconceivably infinite concentration, their minds unobstructed, silent, and unstirring. Their knowledge became immeasurably vast, their realm of experience most profound, without compare. They saw countless Buddhas before them, attained the power of the enlightened, and of the same nature as the enlightened, they clearly perceived all the past, future, and present. Their blessings and virtues were inexhaustible, and they were endowed with all spiritual powers. Those enlightening beings conceived respect for universally good, and urgently wished to behold him. They looked all over the assembled masses, but ultimately did not see him, nor did they see the seat on which he sat. This was because of the support of the awesome power of the enlightened, and also universally good's command of mystic power caused it to be so. Then the enlightening being Universal I said to the Buddha, "Where is the enlightening being universally good now?" The Buddha replied, "The enlightening being universally good is in the assembly at this enlightenment site near me. He has never moved." At that, Universal I and the enlightening beings again searched throughout the assembly, and then said to the Buddha, "We still cannot find universally good." The Buddha said, "That is so. Why can you not see him? Because the dwelling place of the enlightening being universally good is most profound and inexplicable. Universally good has attained boundless aspects of knowledge, entered the lion emergence concentration, attained unexcelled freedom of action, entered pure non-obstruction, and developed the 10 powers of the enlightened. His body is the matrix of the cosmos, on which all enlightened ones concentrate together. In an instant he can thoroughly realize and enter the unfragmented knowledge of the Buddhas of all times. This is why you cannot see him." Then Universal I, hearing the Buddha speak of the pure qualities of universally good, attained 10,000 infinities of concentrations. With the power of concentration he again looked all over, eager to see universally good, but still could not see him. The other enlightening beings could not see him either. Then Universal I rose from concentration and said to the Buddha, "I have entered 10,000 infinities of concentrations and sought to behold universal good, but after all have not succeeded. I do not see his body or physical actions, his speech or conversation, his mind or mental activity, his seat or his place. None of them is visible." The Buddha said, "So it is, so it is. Know that this is all because of the enlightening being universally good's power of abiding in inconceivable liberation. Universal I, what do you think? Can anyone explain the dwelling place of various illusory forms in magical writings?" Universal I said, "No." The Buddha said, "Universal I, if illusory forms and illusions cannot be explained, how much less can one enter or see the esoteric physical realm, the esoteric verbal realm, or the esoteric mental realm of the enlightening being universally good?" Why? Because the realm of universally good is extremely profound, inconceivable, without measure, beyond measure. To sum it up, the enlightening being universally good by means of adamantine wisdom pervades the cosmos of realities, yet does not course in any world or dwell anywhere. He knows that the bodies of all beings are not bodies, and have no coming or going. He has attained inexhaustible, undivided, free spiritual powers, independent, uncontrived, inactive, reaching the ultimate bounds of the cosmos. If any can get to see the enlightening being universally good, or get to attend him, or get to hear his name, or think about him, or remember him, or believe in him, or strive to observe him, or orient themselves toward him, or properly seek him, or initiate vows, continuing uninterrupted, all will gain benefit. None of this is in vain. Then Universal I and all the other enlightening beings, their hearts conceiving longing to behold the enlightening being universally good, spoke these words. Honor to all the Buddhas. Honor to the enlightening being universally good. Saying this 3 times, they bowed in respect. At that point, the Buddha said to the enlightening being Universal I and the others in the assembly, Offspring of the Buddhas, you should bow to universally good again and earnestly entreat him, and you should look upon the 10 directions with utmost single-mindedness and visualize the body of universally good before you. Thinking thus, that universally good is omnipresent throughout the cosmos, believe deeply, detach from everything, vow to practice the same undertaking as universally good, and enter non-dual true reality. The body of universally good appears everywhere in all worlds, with comprehensive knowledge of the differences and faculties of all beings, assembling the path of universally good in all places. If you can initiate such a great vow, then you will be able to see the enlightening being universally good. Now Universal I and the other enlightening beings, hearing the Buddha say this, bowed their heads to the ground and sought to get to see the great being universally good. Then the enlightening being universally good, by the power of liberated spiritual faculties, manifested physical bodies in accord with their needs, causing all those enlightening beings to see universally good near the Buddha, sitting on a lotus seat in the midst of this assembly of all the enlightening beings. They also saw him with all the Buddhas in all other worlds, continuously coming from there. They also saw him with all those Buddhas, expounding all practices of enlightening beings, revealing the path of omniscience, explaining all enlightening beings' spiritual powers, distinguishing all enlightening beings' charismatic virtues, and showing the Buddhas of past, present, and future. At this point, Universal I and all the other enlightening beings, witnessing this miracle, were overjoyed and all bowed to the enlightening being universally good with respect, as if they were seeing all the Buddhas of the 10 directions. Then, by the great spiritual power of the Buddha, as well as the power of faith of the enlightening beings and the power of the original vow of universally good, there spontaneously rained 10,000 kinds of clouds, such as clouds of various flowers, clouds of various garlands, clouds of various fragrances, clouds of various aromatic powders, clouds of various canopies, clouds of various robes, clouds of various ornaments, clouds of various jewels, clouds of various burning incenses, and clouds of various streamers. Unspeakably many worlds quaked. Celestial music played and was heard afar throughout unspeakably many worlds. Great light radiated and illuminated unspeakably many worlds, causing the states of misery to become extinct, adorning unspeakably many worlds, causing unspeakably many enlightening beings to enter into the practice of universally good, and causing unspeakably many enlightening beings to thoroughly fulfill the vows of practice of universal good and attain unexcelled, complete, perfect enlightenment. Then the enlightening being Universal I said to the Buddha, "World-honored one, the enlightening being universally good is one who abides in great power, in incomparability, in unsurpassability, in non-regression, in equanimity, in indestructibility, in all differentiated things, in all undifferentiated things, in the abode of the skillful mind of all beings, in absorption and liberation, free in all things." The Buddha said, "It is so, it is as you say." The enlightening being universally good has innumerable pure qualities, the qualities of peerless adornment, the qualities of innumerable jewels, the qualities of inconceivable oceans, the qualities of infinite forms, the qualities of boundless clouds, infinite incomparable qualities, the qualities of inexhaustible truths, untold qualities, the qualities of all Buddhas, qualities that cannot ever be exhaustively extolled. Then the Buddha said to the enlightening being universally good, "You should explain the 10 concentrations for Universal I and the enlightening beings in this assembly, so that they may be able to enter them and fulfill the practical vows of universal good." Because the great enlightening beings expound these 10 concentrations, they enable the enlightening beings of the past, present, and future to attain emancipation. What are the 10 concentrations? 1. The great concentration of universal light. 2. The great concentration of subtle light. 3. The great concentration of successive journeying to the Buddha lands. 4. The great concentration of the action of the pure, profound mind. 5. The great concentration of knowledge of the stores of adornments of the past. 6. The great concentration of the treasury of light of knowledge. 7. The great concentration of knowledge of the adornments of the Buddhas of all worlds. 8. The great concentration of the differentiated bodies of sentient beings. 9. The great concentration of freedom in the elemental cosmos. 10. The great concentration of the unimpeded wheel. These 10 great concentrations the great enlightening beings can skillfully enter. All the Buddhas of past, future, and present have expounded, will expound, and are expounding them. If enlightening beings gladly and respectfully cultivate and practice them without slacking, they will be able to accomplish them. Such people are called Buddhas. They are called those who have arrived at thusness, and they are called people who have attained the 10 powers, and they are called guides, and they are called great leaders, and they are called omniscient, and they are called all-seers, and they are called those who abide in non-obstruction, and they are called those who have comprehended all objects, and they are called masters of all spiritual truths. These enlightening beings enter into all worlds without being attached to anything in any world. They enter the realms of all beings without grasping beings. They enter all bodies without being hindered by bodies. They enter all elemental realms and know the cosmos is boundless. They draw near all the Buddhas of all times and clearly see all the Buddha's teachings. They skillfully explain all worlds and comprehend all provisional names. They accomplish the pure path of all enlightening beings and are firm in all the different practices of enlightening beings. In a single instant they attain all knowledge of past, present, and future, and know all things in all times. They expound all the Buddha's teachings and turn all the irreversible wheels. In each age, past, future, and present, they realize all paths to enlightenment, and in each enlightenment comprehend what all the Buddhas say. These are the gates of the characteristics of the principles of enlightening beings. These are the gates of the knowledge and awareness of enlightening beings. These are the gates of the inconceivable knowledge of all means of liberation. These are the gates of the practices vowed by the universally good enlightening being. These are the gates of the undertakings of penetrating spiritual powers. These are the gates of all mnemonic command and powers of elucidation. These are the gates to the differentiations of all things of past, present, and future. These are the gates of manifestations of all Buddhas. These are the gates to stabilizing all beings by universal knowledge. These are the gates to beautifying and purifying all worlds by means of spiritual powers of Buddhas. If enlightening beings enter these concentrations, they attain cosmic power that has no end. They are enabled to travel through space without hindrance. They attain the rank of spiritual sovereignty with immeasurable independence and command, like being coronated and enthroned in the world. They attain boundless knowledge comprehending all. They attain vast powers, 10 kinds perfectly fulfilled. They develop non-contentious hearts and enter dispassionate tranquility. They are compassionate and fearless as lions. They are heroes of knowledge and wisdom and light the bright lamp of truth. All their merits and virtues cannot be fully told of. No hearers of self-enlightened ones can conceive of them. They attain knowledge of the realm of reality and abide in infinity, yet are able to discourse in various ways according to worldly conventions. They abide in formlessness, yet can easily penetrate the characteristics of things. They attain the treasury of inherent purity, and are born in the pure house of the enlightened. They skillfully open up various different gates of teaching, yet by means of wisdom they know that nothing exists. They are expert at knowing proper timing, and always carry out the giving of teaching to enlighten everyone. They care for all beings and purify them all. By knowledge of expedient means they demonstrate the attainment of Buddhahood, yet they always carry out the practices of enlightening beings without end. Entering the realm of means of universal knowledge, they manifest various great spiritual powers. Therefore, universally good, you should now analyze and expound the 10 great concentrations of all enlightening beings. All in this assembly want to hear about this.